Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. During Tuesday night's live episode, 11 acts competed for 2 spots in the final. Each of them pulled out all the stops, but one contestant pushed his body to the limit for his art. Andrew is a 42-year-old who swallows swords and does other unimaginable things with his body. The AGT contestant started off his performance by screwing a large metal spring into his nose so it came out of his mouth. Then he upped his game by lifting a woman, who was connected to chains and rubber hooks, with his eye sockets. But he didn't just lift the woman with his face, he did it while he had 2 swords down his throat. He then swallowed an even larger sword before sticking his head in a metal clamp. Once his head was secure, he started swinging around the stage, being held by nothing but the clamp. Finally, the woman from earlier in the act came on the stage and climbed onto Andrew. Once again, he swung around the stage by the clap with the sword in his mouth, but this time she swung with him, all on live television. End of an act. They both bowed to the audience when the stunt was over, but Andrew was breathing heavily. Then he collapsed and fell onto his knees before the host of the show, Terry Crews, 55, started asking if he was okay. Although Andrew confirmed several times that he was okay after the act, it was clear that he was injured. His eyes were red and teary, his face was red, and it took him a while to stand up. He was asked if he needed a medic, but Andrew said no. Finally, Cowel, 63, asked if he hurt himself, and he got a small confirmation. The judges ran through their talking points as quickly as possible. Simon continued and said, "That was disgusting, but brilliantly disgusting, and I think one of my favorite acts tonight." Simon's final words were, "You say you shouldn't try this at home, you shouldn't try this anywhere. Let's go and go." Fans on X, formerly known as Twitter, were horrified and mesmerized by Andrew's act. One said, "Andrew Stanton, this man lifted a woman with chains attached to his eye sockets?" Another said, "Andrew Stanton is insane. I was cringing, hiding, kicking my feet, squealing and watching. I really hope he's up because he got hurt. Please let him go through." A third said, "That was an amazing performance by Andrew Stanton, and remember, do not try this at home." Someone said, "Andrew was amazing, his act was crazy, I loved it." Andrew Stanton's terrifying collapse on AGT. The Daredevil's most gruesome act yet. In the world of entertainment, few things command attention like the feats of daredevils. Those who dare to push the limits of human endurance, challenge the laws of physics, and test their own mettle for the sake of captivating an audience. But sometimes in the pursuit of the spectacular, things go horribly wrong. Such was the case with Andrew Stanton, the fearless daredevil who left audiences shocked and gasping for breath after collapsing on stage during a harrowing performance on America's Got Talent. What was supposed to be a show-stopping act turned into a near tragedy as Stanton's body gave out following a gruesome stunt, leaving even Cowel, no stranger to seeing wild acts, unable to watch. The setup, a high-stakes performance. Andrew Stanton had been making waves throughout the competition, known for his unyielding bravado and willingness to undertake some of the most dangerous stunts ever seen on AGT. His performances had become increasingly daring, and each week he seemed determined to outdo his previous acts. The audience, judges, and even his fellow contestants were constantly left in awe, anticipating just how far he would go. This particular night, however, Stanton's act was cloaked in even more mystery and danger than usual. From the moment he took the stage, the atmosphere was electric with tension. His introduction had promised a death-defying act that would challenge the limits of human capability. No one could have predicted that it would also push Stanton beyond his own physical limits. As the show opened, Stanton stood in the center of the brightly lit stage, surrounded by an elaborate setup involving large steel contraptions, ropes, and chains. His usual swagger was in place, but there was a palpable tension in the air, as if even he knew the act would take him to the edge of what was humanly possible. The crowd fell silent as he explained the details of the stunt, one that involved hanging upside down, freeing himself from a series of shackles, and navigating through sharp, spinning blades, all within a tight time frame. The Daredevil made it clear that any mistake or delay could result in serious injury or worse. There was no safety net, no room for error. The stakes had never been higher. The performance, a gruesome spectacle. With a deep breath, Stanton began the performance. Suspended from the ceiling by his ankles, he was immediately plunged into a race against time. As the seconds ticked by, he worked quickly to unlock the series of shackles holding his wrists and legs in place, each movement precise, but burdened by the immense strain on his body. Sweat poured from his face as he twisted and contorted to reach the locks, all while spinning blades below him threatened to cut him if he made even a slight miscalculation. The audience watched in stunned silence, barely daring to breathe. Judge Simon Cowel, known for his tough demeanor, could be seen turning away from the stage at various moments, his hands covering his face, unable to bear watching the potential disaster unfold. As Stanton continued, the stunt seemed to be progressing well. The first few locks were undone, and it looked as though he would pull off the act without a hitch. But then, as he reached for the final lock, something went wrong. Whether it was the intense pressure, a miscalculated movement, or simply fatigue, Stanton hesitated, just for a moment, but long enough for the situation to spiral out of control. The sharp blades below, which had been slowly advancing, closed in on him. He jerked back suddenly, avoiding the worst of the contact, but not without consequence. His body recoiled from the effort, and a deep gash appeared on his arm, blood immediately staining his sleeve. The audience gasped collectively, many covering their mouths in shock. But Stanton, ever the professional, tried to continue. With blood running down his arm, he managed to unlock the final shackle and free himself from the contraption, but the damage had been done. The second his feet touched the ground, his body collapsed under him. The collapse. Chaos on stage. The collapse happened in an instant, sending shockwaves through the theater. Stanton, once the picture of strength and defiance, crumpled to the ground, clearly in excruciating pain. The audience was momentarily frozen in horror as realization set in that something had gone terribly wrong. Simon Cowel, who had already struggled to watch the performance, immediately leaped to his feet, visibly shaken. "I can't watch this," he muttered as he turned away once more, his usual icy composure replaced with genuine concern. Fellow judges Howie Mandel, Heidi Klum, and Sofia Vergara were also visibly distressed. Vergara gasped audibly, her hands flying to her face in disbelief. On stage, medics rushed to Stanton's side as he clutched his side, clearly struggling to breathe. He was heard whispering, "I'm hurt," over and over as medical personnel attended to him. His once vibrant face was pale and drawn, a stark contrast to the bravado he had displayed just moments earlier. The show's producers quickly cut to commercial, but the damage had already been done. Stanton was taken backstage, where medics worked to stabilize him before he was rushed to the hospital. His fate hung in the balance as the severity of his injuries became clear. The aftermath, fallout, and reflection. As the show resumed after an extended break, host Terry Crews addressed the audience with a heavy heart. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very serious situation tonight," he said solemnly. "Andrew is receiving medical attention, and we'll update you as soon as we can on his condition. Our thoughts are with him right now." The mood in the theater had shifted dramatically from excitement to dread. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on everyone present. What had started as an evening of high-flying stunts and entertainment had turned into a sobering reminder of the dangers involved in these kinds of acts. Later that night, it was revealed that Stanton had suffered multiple injuries, including a severe laceration to his arm and possible internal injuries from the impact of his fall. He was being treated in a local hospital, where doctors were closely monitoring his condition. Fans and fellow contestants immediately took to social media to express their concern and well wishes for the Daredevil, whose courage had inspired so many. Simon Cowell, in particular, was deeply affected by the incident. In a post-show interview, he admitted that Stanton's performance was one of the most difficult things he had ever witnessed in his career as a judge on America's Got Talent. "I've seen a lot of things over the years," Cowell said, "but this was different. Watching someone push themselves to that extreme, and then seeing them collapse like that, it was terrifying. I just hope he recovers quickly." Pushing the limits. When is it too much? Andrew Stanton's collapse on stage has sparked a broader conversation about the nature of Daredevil acts and the ethics of such performances on live television. While audiences are undeniably drawn to the thrill of watching death-defying stunts, Stanton's near tragedy raises questions about how far performers should be allowed, or encouraged, to go in pursuit of entertainment. In the world of reality competition shows, there is always pressure to deliver bigger, bolder, and more dangerous acts to captivate viewers. But at what cost? Daredevils like Stanton thrive on pushing the boundaries of what is possible, but the risks they face are very real. The line between entertainment and danger becomes blurred when performers are willing to risk their lives for a shot at fame. For Stanton, who has built his career on daring stunts, the collapse on stage was a sobering reminder that even the most experienced professionals are not immune to the physical toll of their performances. As he continues to recover, the question remains, will he return to the stage to face the dangers once more, or has this incident forced him to reconsider the price of his daring feats? Conclusion: a moment of reflection. Andrew Stanton's collapse during his gruesome America's Got Talent performance will go down in the show's history as one of the most shocking moments ever witnessed. What began as an act of bravery and skill turned into a chilling reminder of the fragility of the human body and the dangers that come with pushing the limits of what is possible. As Stanton continues his recovery, fans and viewers alike are left to reflect on the nature of entertainment and the sometimes dangerous lengths performers are willing to go for the sake of a moment in the spotlight. Whether Stanton will return to perform again remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: his collapse on stage is a moment that will not be easily forgotten. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Update World 24 YouTube channel for more update news.